Yeah. You know you fucked up, right? Mystic full time in the house. Let's get it. With so much drama in this day and age, it's kinda hard being full-time MMA, but I somehow, some way, keep coming up with content for my hitters like every single day. Now let's get to this nigga Snoop, disrespecting McGregor, thinking that shit was cute. Calling Conor a bitch, what the fuck does that make you? You ain't no big dog, old nigga, you a pooch. And keep it real, Conor didn't even fucking lose. Fook the Mayweathers made $1 million off them dudes, and that's in a pillow fight. Boxing ain't no real fight. How we get knockouts to walk out looking like $1 million likes? Snoop, I think you sipping too much gin and juice, cause something's gotten into you. What the fuck you thinking dissing one of the dudes getting you paid? Now a lot of people don't like you, got him on Twitter yelling hashtag fire Snoop. Biatch. Full time in the house. Mystic full time in the house. Hold up, we ain't fucking done, cause Snoop came back screaming fuck Donald Trump while watching Willie beat on Till. Look brother, you need to chill. Darren ain't American, you must be off the weed and pills, the speed and seals. Cup filled with lean in the vodka. Snoop Doggy Dogg seems to be off his rocker. You don't really want any beef, this ain't boxing. This is MMA, will bring the knees up to your face or take you down and beat you on the ground. Khabib, when I speak to you between every pound, you'll be bleeding, I'll leave your ass up, face down, pause, walking around with no teeth, making not a sound. Super pause. Full time in the house. Mystic full time in the house. Yeah, they wishing, they wishing, they wishing, they wishing, they wishing on me. It's Tony time, bitch, I don't care who's fucking with me. Staying away from tiramisu's a struggle for Khabib. You don't wanna fight, you wanna cuddle with me. My elbows are knives and I'ma cut you with these. I don't really give a fuck who's with me. If this fat fuck will make weight's a big mystery. If you were smart then you would probably pick me to submit Khabib at UFC 223. To submit Pettis at UFC 229. Tony time. Tony time. I knock out, sometimes I choke. I might be the lightweight GOAT. If my leg didn't get broke, would've probably beat Khabib. Then moved up and fought with Lee. Either wait for GSP. You don't wanna mess with me. Tony time. Tony time. I knock out, sometimes I choke. I might be the lightweight GOAT. If my leg didn't get broke, would've probably beat Khabib at UFC 223. Then moved up and fought with Lee. Either wait for GSP.
Fucking did it to me, yeah.
Bust down, Namajunas, bust down, Namajunas. They wanna see me bust down. Beat her up, then take that bitch crown. Beat her up, then take that bitch down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust her. Bust down, bust her, bust her, bust down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust down, Namajunas, bust down, Namajunas. They wanna see me bust down. Beat her up, then take that bitch crown. Beat her up, then take that bitch down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust her. Bust down, bust her, bust her, bust down. It's not a game, not a game. I ain't a new face, baby. No, I ain't. I'm every woman's nightmare. Beat your ass, little bitch, and I don't fight fair. Hit you with the pipe with your man standing right there. I'm the baddest chick in the UFC. Don't a bitch at 115 know what to do with me. I'm the queen, or I will be when I beat you. I know Pat gon' wanna kill me when he see you. It's not a game, not a game. You must be high off them drugs. Think you tapped that blunt 2 times too much. If a bitch relax against me, guarantee I put that bitch on her back. You gon' catch these damn hands. I eat the pussy up, now it's a lesbo scene. Give a bitch a reach around, ain't a bitch that can beat me down, ain't a bitch that can keep me down. So now I gotta put down Namajunas, they wanna see me bust down. Now take that bitch down, down. Yeah, now make that bitch tap, not a game. I said take that bitch down, down. Yeah, Now make that bitch tap, it's not a game, not a game. Bust down, Namajunas, bust down, Namajunas. They wanna see me bust down. Beat her up, then take that bitch down. Beat her up, then take that bitch crown. It's not a game, not a game. Bust her, bust down, bust her, bust her, bust down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust down, Namajunas, bust down, Namajunas. They wanna see me bust down. Beat her up, then take that bitch crown. Beat her up, then take that bitch down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust her, bust down, bust her, bust her, bust down. It's not a game, not a game.
What is going on, full-time family? It is time to start the show, and we are even on time today. Who'da thunk it? I had work yesterday. I was up to like 5 in the morning. I was like, boy, I should have scheduled that stream an hour later. But we made it, guys. We're here. We got some MMA to talk about. Today's live show, I see the full-time family is in the building already. One of the benefits of scheduling your live stream way earlier. What's going on? Valentine T, Mr. Perfect 2005, Esquered, Given Surname, Leon Dubson in the building. Kim Jong Uzi says Cowboy showed up. I thought Al would KO him. Yo, Cowboy definitely showed up. I didn't think Al was going to KO him like Al KO'd Diego Sanchez because I know Cowboy's way too good. That's kind of like why I picked him against Mike Perry, even though a lot of people counted him out. But I will say this, I did not expect him to win like every round like that. Like, Iaquinta is in his prime right now. He's looked better in his recent fights than he has ever in his career. I mean, he one day notice went with Khabib for 5 rounds, didn't get finished. That's saying a lot because short notice, Khabib, I mean, Iaquinta was training, but not for a 3-round fight, not for a title fight. Therefore, stepped in one day notice in the main event, saved the card, fought Khabib, lost, but it was still an impressive performance to be on such short notice. Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee's got all the motivations in the world to win this fight. He lost the first fight. It was your first fight in the UFC. You've got a lot more well-rounded. You've started talking trash since then, opening your mouth like you're ready for the greats. Started calling out GSP and these guys even. You know, you've been calling out Khabib, GSP, McGregor, like you're ready for the next step. So that Iaquinta fight was Kevin Lee needed that to go to the next step of his stardom and in his MMA career. That would have been a huge win. I mean, he would have probably been the one fighting Cowboy. Winner fights McGregor. So that was a huge fight for Kevin Lee. Now Iaquinta fucking beat him in all of Kevin Lee's best positions. Kevin Lee got him down, got the body lock, tented the rear naked choke, couldn't submit Al. Al got back up and won the fight. I was the most impressed I'd ever been with Iaquinta in a fight. I mean, of course, he knocked out Diego Sanchez. That was impressive, but not as impressive as beating Kevin Lee in that fashion. So, Iaquinta's raging right now. No pun intended. Kind of intended. Either way, he's fucking raging right now on a tear. He fights Cowboy. Cowboy shows up with his son Daxon, his old fight patch, and kicks Iaquinta's old ass. What? I see you, Cowboy. I did not expect that. I didn't expect Cowboy to beat Alex Hernandez like he did. Like, I picked him versus Mike Perry, but Alex Hernandez is the real deal. We know Iaquinta's the real deal. So, I mean, you can't do nothing but take your hat off to Cowboy, even though I'm not taking this coonskin cap off, because it was just an amazing performance over the weekend. Let's pull up the fights. That's what we're going to start with. UFC Ottawa recap. Some great fights over the weekend. Not boxing fights, great MMA fights. Well, I can't tell you about the boxing undercard because I would never be caught dead watching one of those. But the main event was trash. And I can say that even more comfortably now because even a fucking world champion boxer came out and agreed with me. I really was like, bro, I've been trying to find what it is in boxing that people enjoy. Like, seriously, when I first started this channel, I never enjoyed boxing, and I never even wanted to start. That was way before Mayweather McGregor and shit like that. So, you know, it's like, okay, Mayweather McGregor, I guess I'll tune in a little bit, whatever. Then I start hearing a little bit about more boxers, and it's like, okay, I'm starting to hear about the bigger boxers. I guess I'm actually a casual boxing fan now. But when it comes to the fights, I'm sorry, I'm spoiled. It's like, someone described it perfectly during the live stream. It's like going from fucking bareback to wearing 2 condoms. Like, what? Dude, I'm watching MMA. I just was watching MMA where you can land a head kick, you can use kicks, you can submit people, you can take people down, you can knock people out with the hands, you can do everything. You can clinch up in the fence, trip dudes down, a million different things you can do in an MMA fight, a lot of different ways the fight can end. I mean, just submission, knockout, decision alone is more possibilities of different things that could happen in a fight than boxing. And that's not even when you take in head kick KO, all these different kind of KOs, all these different type of submissions, triangle choke, arm bar, fucking, all these different submissions. All those are different results you could have in an MMA fight. That's just, you don't want to see the same shit over and over. I don't want to see two dudes fucking for 12 rounds for 3 hours. I don't know how the fuck people would sit through a boxing undercard. I just couldn't. I couldn't. But yeah, I feel a little more comfortable saying that because, like I said, I know some of the full-time family, they appreciate boxing a little more. They watch it a little bit, but Triple G blast Canelo over his boring win over Daniel Jacobs. So clearly, we weren't the only ones that thought it was boring. So play sicko mode. In my opinion, best one yet says Leon Dubson. Okay, we'll do that on a break. Cowboy showed up. I thought Al would KO him, says King Jong Uzi. I fucks with the sicko mode, says Mr. Perfect 2005. I grew up on boxing, but it's over for me, says Given Sure Name. 90s boxing was dope, though. See, in the 90s, I was like fucking 8 years old, 7 years old, and shit like that. So, unless you really are into it, you're really not into boxing, because my nephew, like, he's into MMA, but he still don't give a shit. Like, he actually likes it. He knows a couple fighters, but he ain't into it like we're into it. He ain't a real fan. It's not like he's growing up on MMA, but that is his preferred sport, of choice. But either way, I hear you. But yeah, in the 90s boxing, before internet, before MMA. But yeah, so we got some things to talk about on today's show, including these fights from last weekend. And of course, the fights coming up this weekend. We'll talk about those a little more on Thursday's episode, though. We're just going to touch on Namajunas versus Andrade for today. Main card. We'll look at the full card on Thursday. So, with that being said, let's take a look at last weekend's fight card. Of course, they have Jacare versus Jack Hermanson on the screen instead of Cowboy versus Iaquinta. It says, just happened, Jacare versus Hermanson. Up next, Namajunas versus Andrade. I guess Cowboy Iaquinta versus Donald Cerrone never happened, ESPN.com. New channel name, says Michael Sadman. Well, we got full-time MMA, of course. We got UFC Yankovic, and then we also are full-time MMA over on sportsbooth.tv and Twitch and all the other social media websites. But other than that, not really a new channel. I've been thinking about, like, starting a new channel, doing, like, reactions, just something different rather than my personal commentary. Like, even, like, I know how to edit videos at this point, making highlight videos or something. I've been thinking about doing something else on another channel. Valentine T says, DC needs EPOs and picograms to have a chance against John Jones. Part-time MMA, says Valentine T. Hey, I don't know, man. DC needs EPOs and picograms to have a chance against John Jones. I mean, maybe at light heavyweight. I don't know if I would agree at heavyweight. That would still be interesting to me. All right, passed. Okay, here we go. Iaquinta versus Cowboy. We found it. But yeah, no. As far as part-time MMA is concerned, we're definitely closer to part-time MMA at this point than I would say full-time MMA. I mean, when I started this channel, it was all fucking steam ahead. You know what I'm saying? MMA. I didn't even watch NBA, NFL, MLB. I mean, I was actually treating this like a, part-time job-ish. I had my other job, but I actually treated this like a part-time job, which took all of my other time. But whenever YouTube just started censoring and flagging and copywriting and all that shit started happening, like, the motivation just went down. It's like, there's no thanks. You know what I'm saying? So, ultimately, it led me to getting back into the NBA and NFL, and I even fucking got a side eye open to MLB. I never was a baseball fan, but I even fucking check in with baseball every now and then. So, yeah, definitely part-time MMA now. You should, with more music, says Michael Sandman. You mean like more UFC raps? I could just put that on UFC Yankovic. I remember the day we came up with the name Full Time MMA. I do too, man. And I remember it was either going to be like Full Time MMA or something to do with the hood. Something to do with like, you know what I'm saying? Urban MMA, something like that. It was either going to be Full Time MMA or Urban MMA. Those were two of the ones that stood out. But yeah, MMA Fast Topics. Yo, she was lit. I wouldn't pay 5 cents to see Thug Rose bust down. Yo, you gotta chill, Valentine T. Yes, you would. There's different definitions of bust down. Bust down in our song sense is bust down. Like I'm gonna bust you down, bust you up. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that type of bust down. So you would definitely pay more than 5 cents to see Rose Namajunas bust somebody up. That's essentially what we're saying. So, taking a look at the results over this weekend's fight card, of course, we had Cerrone versus Iaquinta. Phenomenal performance for Cerrone. Before the fight, he talked about how he was not chasing McGregor anymore. I bet you that's changed. You know, now that you got a win over a legit top lightweight contender that's got all the respect, so now Cerrone's right up there in the mix with everybody. Isn't it fucking crazy? Tony Ferguson is on an 11-fight win streak in the division, was the interim champion, and all of the, all the things Tony Ferguson has done to still be sitting in a rut at lightweight. Yeah, Cerrone, in divisions up at welterweight, taking some L's, got a W, came down, got a couple L's at lightweight, and he's about to steal your fucking McGregor fight. Budweiser versus Proper 12. This is big business, baby. We ain't got time for El Kakui. Holy smokes. Cerrone, though, he's in there like swimwear. I definitely think that's a possible fight. We'll talk about this. One of our first topics we talk about Khabib's, busy schedule he's planning after his suspension. Khabib is planning on 3 fights, and yeah, you fucking better be. What are you talking about? Like, this should be expected. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're suspended for 9 months. You could have came back in 6 months if you just wanted to do an anti-bullying PSA. So you're essentially your pride. Like you're using your pride to take an extra 3-month vacation. Okay. When you come back, it's going to be fucking, you fight, and then it's going to be time for Ramadan. So I really hope you have a busy schedule, because if not, you're just going to be another inactive champion, which I wouldn't be too surprised about, because it happens. You see inactive champions nowadays, especially if it's somebody that kind of has the politics on their side. Like if you're somebody that's marketable, you can, be a little less active. That's just how I see it. But Khabib, there's guys that fight through Ramadan, and I understand that. Khabib, his path is more linear. He'd rather not risk losing. He wants to keep his perfect record intact, so can't risk fighting on Ramadan, even if you're way better than the opponent, right? But Bilal Muhammad, he's somebody that I remember specifically that fought through Ramadan and actually got a win through Ramadan. It's harder. He said he eats at night and whatever he does to still fight through that time. But there are some fighters that have fought through Ramadan. Khabib, on the other hand, that's usually vacation time for Khabib. I don't know. I wouldn't say Ramadan is his vacation, but as far as from the fight game, definitely stepping away. So now you got the suspension, come back, fight once, maybe twice. It's time for Ramadan. I mean, not a lot of activity. So hopefully Khabib can keep true on this busy schedule and fight all these guys before it's time for the next vacation. Now, moving down the card, we had Derek Brunson versus Elias Theodorou. Elias Theodorou talking some of that good trash coming into this fight. Some of that Dominic Cruz, like, conceited trash. Like, I just feel like I'm a smarter fighter. I feel like I'm going to go in there. He's a little bit of a front runner. I'm going to be able to outlast him. And, after I get past the first round, he's a little wild and aggressive. I don't think he knows how to control his style. Like, what? God damn, bro. You're breaking Derek. You think you got Derek Brunson broke down, don't you? Like, damn, Elias. Like, just kind of discounting Derek Brunson's skills and everything. And it was interesting he said all that going into the fight, because it looked like Derek Brunson was the fresher fighter in the second and third rounds to me. But hey, It is what it is. Props to Ben. He made that a big event since giving sure name for sure. But you know, Daniel Cormier could have made it a big event too. Chill probably wouldn't have been as big, but Jordan Burroughs versus any high level MMA wrestler, Khabib, like it would have actually been way bigger. You know, he definitely did it. I give respect to Ben Askren for stepping in there. What he did shined a bright light on wrestling, which is cool, and the best wrestler of right now, Jordan Burroughs, which I had already heard a little bit about. But at the same time, he got smashed. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like 9-0. Like, I don't watch amateur wrestling, but they said he got like teched 9-0. Like it just, he never had a chance. And so, I mean, that's interesting though. He did bring a, spotlight to regular wrestling, not professional wrestling, whatever you call it. Amateur wrestling, I'm assuming. Is everybody amateur in wrestling? I mean, because after amateur is pro. Like you don't go straight from, the NCAA national title or the Olympics straight into the WWE. I don't know. That's interesting. Valentin T says, why does DC want to fight Jones at 205? He will lose. He only has a chance at heavyweight. I don't know. That has bugged me from the very beginning, since before Daniel Cormier fought Derek Lewis, and we were like, why don't DC fight John Jones? What a better time. Everything lines up perfect. It's in New York. John Jones is from New York. There's no better time for DC and John Jones to fight than right now. But instead it was Derek Lewis, and both fighters at the time, like, DC was like, I want to fight him where I beat him at heavyweight. John Jones was like, I want to get my light heavyweight title back. And it's like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on here? You guys fight at heavyweight. That's something we actually all want to see. Are they just trying to postpone it? Drag it out? Like, honestly, how many people even want to see them fight at light heavyweight? The fight that we've already seen twice. Same results. Unless John Jones comes in there looking like a fucking string bean because all the picos are finally out of his system, I'm not interested in seeing that fight at light heavyweight. It is interesting when you move it up to heavyweight, because now that's where Daniel Cormier is the champion and he's undefeated at that weight class. It's not just a 10-pound jump either. It's actually from 205 to 265. So can John Jones put on that much weight and fuck with Daniel Cormier? That's what I want to know. Or can you just mess with Daniel Cormier? Daniel Cormier's better weight class, his optimal weight class. That's what I want to know. I have no clue why these guys would want to fight at light heavyweight, but hey, it is what it is. If they do it, I guess we'll watch it. Cub Swanson versus Shane Burgos. This was a disappointing fight. Cub Swanson, I don't know. Clearly, and I'm just going to say this just because it is what I'm thinking. The UFC matchmakers clearly don't give a shit about Cub Swanson. Or they're trying to get him out of there. He pissed somebody off. I don't know, but he did make an interesting comment before his fight where he's like, I'm not the type to sell out for money, Okay, well, he got another tough matchup, man. Cub Swanson is now on a 4-fight losing streak, but he's literally fighting fucking killers. You would think somebody that's paid as much dues as Cub Swanson, that's put in as much work, can he get a winnable fucking fight? And yeah, sure, Shane Burgos is winnable, but he's a really good fighter. Tough style matchup. He's a huge fucking featherweight. Looks like a lightweight. I mean, that's a hard-ass fight for Cub Swanson on a 3-fight losing streak. Can we put him in there with fucking Teruto Ishihara or somebody? Can we just get Cub a dub? That's all I want to know. Why are we putting him in there with this fucking killer Shane Burgos that looks like he done found a way to rehydrate after the weigh-in and shit? You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. So I fucking definitely did not like to see Cub Swanson going there losing that fight because, I mean, and it is what it is. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But he's on a 3-fight losing skid. That's the 4th. Or are they going to cut him now? Sorry, you couldn't beat Shane Burgos. You guys matched me up with that fucking big dude. I mean, yeah, you can say, I'm sure there's some people, Cubs should just be able to beat everybody if you want to fucking get wins. This is what I'm talking about when I say, what's better, a win streak or strength of schedule? Clearly for Cub, it would have been better if he got to fight fucking Cans, right? He'd be 4-0, and people would be like, "Oh, Cub's 4-0. Let's get him a title shot." It's like, but he fought nobody. He's fighting killers, fucking straight killers, man. Brian Ortega, Shane Burgos. So we'll see what happens with Cub. Maybe he gets another fight in the UFC, but right now he's currently on a 4-fight skid, and there are other promotions I'm sure that would love to have him. Bellator, One Championship, LFA. You know, there's a lot of organizations that maybe Cub can go, you know, if the UFC decides to part ways. But hey, I was rooting for Cub. Merab Davishvili got that dub for Team Serra-Longo over Brad Katona, handed Brad Katona his first loss, professional loss. Merab Davishvili looked great as expected. He trained with two of the best fighters in the world, Iaquinta, Aljamain Sterling. I think Aljamain Sterling is extremely underrated, especially in his division. But hey, they're in similar divisions, so Merab keeps climbing, Aljamain keeps climbing. You know, being in that same division. It's interesting because I'm sure they wouldn't fight, but I read an article like yesterday. It was talking about Merab Davishvili, like when he started training MMA with Serra-Longo. He was like, "Yeah, I got my ass beat by Aljamain Sterling, and now I'm here." Like Aljamain Sterling's been over there, you know, because he's one of the best bantamweights in the world for sure. I mean, Aljamain's a guy who lost a couple split decisions. If he won those, if the referees weren't racist, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna go there. He won those, but if the referees, you know, we're watching at least one of the fights. The Brian Caraway fight, that's arguable. Okay, I'll probably say Caraway won that one, but who did he fight after that? Sunsao or somebody. Aljamain fought somebody where he outlanded the strikes, took him down more times, and still lost the fight on the judges' scorecards. So that was a fight where it's like, don't leave it in the judges' scorecards. Like, that is one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard. Don't leave it in the judge's hands. I'm not trying to leave it in the judge's hands, but just in case I can't knock this trained fucking savage out, can the judges do their fucking job right? Because it's pretty important. Don't leave it in the hands of the judges. How about if you don't fucking leave the judges' scorecards in the hands of incompetent fucking people? You got Adelaide Bird, who literally can't even judge boxing, judging fucking MMA. She don't know what she's looking at in boxing. How do you take her to a new sport and fucking let her judge some of these cards? What? So if you're somebody who's, your record is your resume, that is how you change your life, by winning fights? You're gonna tell me it's like fucking jury duty? You're gonna call in somebody completely, you know, and jury duty's a little different in the sense that, yeah, you can call in people off the street, make a moral judgment. But either way, you're calling in somebody completely unqualified and you're putting my life in their hands? Something's got to give, man. Shane Burgos looked huge compared to Cubs' power techniques. I agree. I agree with you full time about Jones versus DC being better if contested at heavyweight. I thought Cub versus Burgos was a good contest. It's just maybe a combination of the featherweight division getting stacked, and he's been fighting for quite some time from a young age. Cub, yeah, but he reminds me of like Dustin Poirier. Like, he's been fighting for a long time, but he's been fighting against really good fighters, and he's been getting better. I think I used this exact comparison. I think Cub Swanson is like the Dustin Poirier if he didn't train at American Top Team. You know, he's got the experience. He's been in there with high-level guys. He knows what he's doing in the ring. But is his training on a day-to-day basis as high level as it would be with an AKA or an ATT or one of those camps? But yeah, I don't think Cub Swanson's going to be like a future champion or even probably top 5 fighter. Shit, at this point, I don't know if he's going to remain in the top 10. I mean, the wins he was getting before this losing streak, he beat, you know, I think Artem Lobov, you know, some of those guys that really aren't contenders. So it could just be another. What it could be is just a test for Cub Swanson. Are you good enough to be in the top 10? And just a coming-of-age moment for Shane Burgos. This is the biggest win of his career. He beat Kurt Holloway, who doesn't really have a name, but he did have an impressive record. And now he's got the biggest win of his career. Cub Swanson is the first name that a lot of people are going to recognize on his career and put some respect on his name. So it was a big win for Shane Burgos. Can't take nothing away from him. Except for, damn, how are you so big for this division? This dude is clearly a beast at cutting weight. But hey, Merab Davishvili, we talked about Walt Harris versus Sergey Spivak. I completely expected Walt Harris to destroy this guy. Walt Harris could be 6-1 in like his last 7 UFC fights, fighting against a guy that's never fought anybody close to UFC caliber competition. I didn't know if it was going to be first round KO, second round KO, but I did expect a finish from Walt Harris in this one. Andrew Sanchez, good wrestler, Ultimate Fighter winner, got the dub over Marc-Andre Barriault as well. That was the main card of UFC Ottawa over the weekend. So now we got to talk about some news, and I'll be out your hair and off to work. Michael Sadman says John could fight light, 220-ish. Valentine T says clearly Club is off EPOs. No. I don't think Club was ever on it. I just think it's about levels. And also Shane Burgos did look huge. Like I said, either Shane Burgos is just one of the best at cutting weight, or he found some way to rehydrate, right? Because he was huge. Or maybe Cub was just on the smaller end, the really smaller end of featherweight. But they did not look the same size in there. I agree with you full-time about Jones versus DC being better if contested at heavyweight. I already read that one, I believe. This just in, Anthony Johnson was arrested for domestic battery. Is this breaking news? I wouldn't honestly be too surprised. Let me see, though. Anthony Rumble Johnson. No. Fuck. Breaking news, you guys. Salute to Pyrotechniques coming in like Dennis Espinoza with the hot breaking news. Former UFC fighter Rumble Johnson charged with domestic battery. Again, by the way. I remember, man, I had a bad feeling about this ever since that whole gym mat incident. Some of you guys might remember. All right, let's pull one of these up. I don't want to pull up TMZs. They're just so cringy. All right. It's crazy because Anthony Rumble Johnson already had in the past an issue of domestic battery or domestic violence. And I don't fucking keep a file on Anthony Johnson, so I don't remember every detail. It was a long time ago. But from what I remember, it was a lot worse than the Greg Hardy case, in the sense that Greg Hardy, right, he never got convicted because the chick didn't show up for the second court date or whatever, even though he looked guilty. Well, this one looked a lot worse from what I can remember. And then we had an incident where Anthony Rumble Johnson had a stalker. Remember, people were leaving notes on his car. And, was a detail where somebody was at his gym and wanting to use the mats, and he went crazy, threw their fucking gym mat across the room, and posted this on social media. Next time you come in my space, I'll throw your fucking gym mat again. I was like, whoa, calm down, big buddy. You're a big dude, and these are just little civilians out here, so chill a little bit. So, I mean, I always kind of was, on edge when it comes to Anthony Rumble Johnson, but he hasn't, I mean, I'm sure everybody is, but he hasn't been in the UFC for about a year now, right? Year and a half since he quit the UFC. So, I mean, he hasn't really been in the news. So, this is unfortunate to see. Anthony Rumble Johnson, 35, was arrested in Boca Raton, Florida on Sunday, charged with 1 count of battery, domestic battery, according to criminal probable cause affidavit. The affidavit states the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office responded to a 911 call on Sunday night from an individual who claimed to be the victim of a domestic disturbance. Deputies arrived at the residence to meet with the alleged victim, who told them that her boyfriend, Johnson, picked her up and carried her into another room during an argument. I swear to God, they literally would charge you with kidnapping for that. 100%. I don't know why he doesn't have a kidnapping charge. And I'm not saying that because I do not wish that on him. I just know how bullshit the laws are. I'm telling you right now, you pick up a person, it don't matter who they are. If you take them to another room against their will, they charge you with kidnapping. It don't matter if it's you and your girl, just like this. You take her from the living room to the bedroom, That is fucking kidnapping. They will charge you with that shit if they really want to hit you. That is literally the definition. The alleged victim said she was scared due to Johnson's size and martial arts experience. The alleged victim said she didn't ask for her phone, which Johnson gave her. She then went out on her balcony to call 911. This is already starting to not add up. If I'm picking you up and taking you into another room and I've got your phone, why would I give you your phone to call 911? Like, I asked for my phone and he gave it to me. Oh, so he was being pretty cordial, right? Like, usually when somebody's pissed off to the point to where you think, like, domestic battery comes into play, you're assuming aggression and all that, but also the fact that he picked her up and took her into another room in a football hold, they could use that as the domestic battery. If they don't want to charge you with kidnapping, they can charge you with domestic battery for that right there. Oh, you bear hugged her. Okay, we're not going to charge you with kidnapping, but we could. So we're just going to give you a domestic battery. Domestic dispute. Clearly she's okay, but she does have red marks on her arms. So let's fucking run your name through the mud. Johnson then claimed that the alleged victim followed him into the room to continue the argument. This is starting to make sense. Johnson said he asked her to leave him alone and stop talking to him. Johnson then admitted picking the alleged victim up and moving her to another room to get her away from him. Johnson told the deputy he was not trying to hurt the alleged victim, but he wanted her to stop arguing with him. The affidavit states that the alleged victim did not have any visible injuries. The alleged victim refused to complete a written statement. Their closing comments were arrested deputy wrote, I believe Johnson actually and intentionally touched the alleged victim against her will, which is a violation of PSS domestic battery. See, man, this is sounding like some bullshit right here. What's going on with Anthony Rumble Johnson in this situation sounds like some baby back, bagel biting bullshit. He does not sound like an aggressor or a bad person in this story. He did nothing wrong. To me, to you, to anybody that's looking at this situation. Now, if you want to pull out a piece of fucking paper that says, technically, if you touch her against her will, I've got to arrest you. Even if she's right here saying, listen, he gave me the phone. We're cool now. I was tripping earlier. I was drunk. It don't matter what she's saying at this point. The cops are already there. They see big black dude. If you were aggressive at one time in the day, if they got any bone to pick with you, if it's a fucking cop that, oh, you think you're an MMA fighter, well, I got a gun, let me show you who the real tough guy is, I mean, then they're gonna fuck with you. And that's why in so many situations, even when the cops don't need to be called or don't need to come out, people end up with charges. And half the times the situation would have been cool 30 minutes later. But hey, once the cops comes out, they usually do take somebody. It's going to be you, it's going to be her, it's going to be somebody. So, with that being said, also, like, the way the story was being told, she was coming back in. It seemed like she was the aggressor in the argument. He was trying to get away from the argument, but, it doesn't matter how hard you try to explain it. Someone's going to say, well, you should have just left, bro. You should have got in your car and left your own house, bro. You should have just went and chilled, like, at fucking, Chipotle until she calmed down. Like, wait, I gotta leave my own house? I'm just sitting here. This bitch is going crazy behind me. I guess I'll just leave my own house. What the fuck, man? Hey. So this situation, it's unfortunate he was charged with domestic battery, but I don't think anything's gonna stick out of this situation. But I gotta say, Anthony Rumble Johnson specifically has to be careful, because when you have an incident like this in your past, and now your name is tied in another incident like this, even if this situation isn't as bad as the first situation, that's 2 strikes. Now, you really got to be walking on eggshells, because a third time, man, people don't always look into the details like we did. You see this headline, what? Anthony Rumble Johnson charged with domestic battery? And especially, if you think about the character in the past, it's like, oh, that's believable, but this situation does not seem like an over-aggressive, Anthony Johnson at all. It actually seems like he's the victim here, low-key. From what I just read, it really seems like Anthony Rumble Johnson is the victim in this situation. I mean, did he try to de-escalate the situation by moving her to another room? Yes. If you want to call him an evil person for trying to de-escalate the fight, that's on you, bro. But that's not what I see here. So yeah, some breaking news on the show. Got a few more things to talk about, and I gotta head out of here. Stamina MC says London calling. What's going on? Stamina MC John Doe in the building. Valentine T says Brendan Schwab was giving Hardy a hard time over his past. Yeah, I really kind of take. If you don't know the details and you're just being some fucking, oh, domestic violence is bad, bro. Cool fucking story. That was a bold take. That was a hot take. Domestic violence is bad. Ugh. So, and then this is my thing. When it comes to Greg Hardy, it's like, oh, when we hear the word domestic violence, let's bring up Greg Hardy. One of the, I put in air quotes because I don't trust nobody. One of the fucking bright spots of MMA activism going on right now is the fight for the forgotten, Justin Wren. He seems like a really good guy, building wills for the pygmies. One of his close friends literally just got arrested for some domestic violence type shit, and it's like, wait, are we building wills for the pygmies, or are we hanging out with woman abusers? What the fuck is going on here? But that goes, what happened? Greg Hardy where? Like, what? Greg Hardy did what? You know, so, and with Rumble Johnson, situation like that right there. I mean, he's charged, so it's going to be a headline, but headlines can be destructive, I think, if, people don't look for the truth. But hey, it is what it is. John Doe says, fuck the police. That's how I treat them. Valentine T already read that. Brendan Schwab said Dana is giving Greg Hardy easy fights, to be honest. He's just butthurt because Rogan convinced him to quit MMA. I don't know about all that. I definitely don't know anything about him being butthurt because Rogan convinced him to quit MMA. I think he's probably grateful. That was probably the best thing Brendan Schaub could have done. What? I get to get out of cage fighting and start sitting on couch and doing podcasts and telling jokes? Dick jokes, I think, he says specifically. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I've heard him talk about it on his podcast. Like, I get to fucking tell dick jokes now. Like, let's go. I don't think anybody would rather be a cage fighter than a podcaster and comedian. But I hear you. Donald Cerrone sends a message to Conor McGregor. He said, if Conor wants to fight, fuck yeah, let's go. Especially in July, I'm ready. Let's turn and burn, baby. Who knows? I'm going to be sitting at home in a couple of months bored. Like, fuck, fine. I'll fight whoever. But I love it. And that's another thing with Cerrone. He's anyone, anywhere, any place. So he ain't going to wait all year on Conor McGregor. When he's ready to roll, he's getting in there. Especially July 4th. If you think Cowboy ain't fighting around July 4th, you're fucking crazy. He just needs a dance partner. And Conor can sign up because Khabib has other obligations with Poirier. Khabib's got to fight the interim champion. And then Khabib could fight the winner of Cowboy McGregor. And then it's time for the ultimate call out of GSP. Come out of retirement. I want all the smoke. That's when shit would get real fun. But definitely looking forward to seeing Cowboy fight again in July. Headlines equal prototype clickbait. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Donald Cerrone says being able to wear custom patch at UFC Ottawa meant more to me than anything. Give you a little bit of the history of why this is kind of a big deal. Donald Cerrone has worn this patch in the past, and he got a big fine for it. It was like right after Reebok was coming in, so really strict with the uniform policy. They're trying to get Reebok in the door. Like, so fighters can't have their own sponsors, can't wear custom patches or anything like that. So last time, Donald Cerrone got a really big fine for wearing this patch. And it's a sentimental patch. It's not no damn advertisement. He's not trying to get a sponsor. It's like a patch from his very first, like, Muay Thai shorts or something. It's like a really sentimental patch for him. It's got a lot of sentimental value. But he said the UFC actually encouraged him to wear the patch this fight. I'll put the patch on the screen now if you want to see what it looks like. And that's the patch Donald Cerrone was wearing in his fight. And he said that meant more to him than anything. And when he said that, I thought about it because isn't that big of a deal? Not unless you want to make it one. You could make it one, because you do think a couple things. Like, for one, if it meant that much to Donald Cerrone to wear on his pants, and these dudes are independent contractors, they should be able to put on a fucking patch. If I'm going to war, right, and let's just use a lucky fucking rabbit's foot. if I'm going to war and I feel like this thing is going to help me survive, this is my fucking good luck charm. This is going to have me in my mental state ready to perform the best. You know, like, come on, man. I feel like Cerrone should be able to wear this patch. Now, I get it. It's Reebok uniform policies. And so now I say, okay, well, if Cerrone got to wear this patch, does everybody get to wear a patch? Or is this just a Cerrone McGregor Khabib thing? Like, you know, is this only certain people? If you're in good with the UFC, if the new owners like you, you get to wear a patch? Is only a Donald Cerrone thing? I don't know. I'm just saying, I guarantee you if just Aljamain Sterling, just anyone that comes to my head, fucking Cub Swanson, I bet you he ain't getting no special treatment. You can't just wear patches unless what, you're Cerrone or because you know if Cerrone can wear a patch, McGregor can for damn sure wear a patch. What do you think? What do you think it would look like if they tried to tell McGregor, "Sorry, you can't wear a patch. Only Cerrone can." What? What the fuck is? Well, for one, I'm about to fight. Like he knows who he is, but I've made you guys way more money. I'm way bigger of a star. You're gonna tell me he can do something that I can't do? I don't know. There's never been a moment in time where I felt like Cerrone had more power than McGregor. You know, and I'm not saying McGregor's got ultimate power, but I'm saying anything a fighter can do, McGregor can probably also do. You know, like scale cages, push referees, and shit like that other fighters can't do. So that's interesting. But it meant a lot to Donald Cerrone to be able to wear that patch. He said it meant more to him than anything. And this was a big win in his career, big win over Iaquinta. I think he's still undefeated in Canada. So, yeah, pretty cool little patch there. Let's see. He said they did that. This isn't me. This isn't Cowboy being sneak me. They asked me where I wanted it. And I said, right down my fucking leg, man. They're like, really? And I said, yeah. And they said, all right. I was like, fuck yeah. Finally, cool. It meant something to me. I was like, hell yeah. Finally, the old guy gets, hell yeah. You know, he was just excited about it. He said, to be honest, winning and setting records, this meant more to me than anything. Having the company that took it from me come back and say, you know, where do you want it? Let's go. They find me, made a big deal out of it. Tonight they were like, it's where you want it. Let's go. So, you know, that was pretty cool of the UFC, depending on how you want to look at it. But I think that was pretty cool to let Donald Cerrone wear that patch. All right, sticking with the lightweight division, El Cucuy Tony Ferguson is back, motherfuckers. He met with the UFC in Las Vegas. I can't wait. I don't know why. And you know, a lot of people like look at Tony Ferguson's a mental breakdown and shit like that, and they just chalk it up like, oh well, Tony Ferguson's crazy. I've told some of you guys, if you've been listening to the channel for a long time, like when my cousin passed away, Tony Ferguson has always been the UFC fighter, even before my cousin passed away. When I looked at Tony Ferguson, I was like, oh, that's Lalo. That's my fucking cousin Lalo, bro. They are so similar. Anytime I see a Tony Ferguson interview, anything he's doing, off the wall trading, like that's my fucking cousin Lalo. Like they're so much alike. Clearly, my cousin Lalo's not a fucking UFC fighter, you know, with angel wings tattooed on him. But you know, Mexican American, and they have so many similarities in their actions and mannerisms. So and then my cousin passed away, and so it was like now, you know, I even, you know, kind of had that bond with Tony Ferguson a little bit more. So he's been going through his issues with mental illness and stuff like that. And it's fucking crazy because my cousin that passed away actually was dealing with a lot of mental illness issues and stuff like that. Like, and ultimately, you know, whatever happened happened. But so with that being said, I root for Tony Ferguson off. I've always kind of rooted for him. And with everything that's going on and how none of it really makes sense, and I know we're never going to get all the details, I still kind of like, I'm hoping shit works out for Tony Ferguson. Because he's been through a lot of shit, you know, as far as 11 fight winning streak, beating a lot of the best names in the division, entertaining style, putting it all out there. He's not fighting safe. He's entertaining. He's putting it out there on the line. He's dancing. He's saucing. Like, fucking coming back from being rocked. He'll submit you, choke you out when he's bloody. Tony Ferguson is a fucking warrior. It is what it is. He just is. So, to trip over a fucking cord when you get your title shot. And I think Mixed Molly Whoppery said it the best. How the fuck did Tony Ferguson trip over a cord when he literally trains tripping over cords? Tony Ferguson definitely trains tripping over cords. So I don't know how he missed that one. But coincidentally, luckily for the UFC and McGregor and Khabib, because it set up the ultimate mega fight, he tripped over a cord. So now McGregor gets to fight Khabib. Tony Ferguson gets skipped. Boom, boom, boom. Now Tony Ferguson's trying to come back, and he's got mental issues all of a sudden and shit. And it's like nothing seems to be able to go right for this dude who's been wanting to fight Khabib forever. He had the same manager as Conor McGregor. They recently separated because that was probably a conflict of interest. Like, all right, clearly you're going to rock with McGregor over me. That's, you're in the same division. You're going to be on the back burner as long as Conor McGregor's fighting if you're Tony Ferguson. I mean, that's just how it works. It don't matter if it's the fight business, the music business. If you're on the same label, you're in the same genre of music, and this guy's hot right now, everybody wants to see him, hear his music, everybody wants to hear him, they're going to promote him until the hype is done. You're going to be on the back burner. That's how it works. And here, it's similar. If you have the same manager, and Conor's making your manager all of this money, why, he's not going to then under promote Conor so he can help boost you up. No, he's going to keep getting it while the getting's good. So it was a conflict of interest. Tony Ferguson now has a new management group. He said, well, this was from Brett Okamoto, with ESPN. Tony Ferguson and his new management Ballangy group met with UFC brass in Las Vegas today. I'm told meeting went well. No fight agreed upon yet, but it's possible things move quite fast from here. Tony is excited to fight in the UFC. UFC is excited to have him back. Now, it wasn't Cowboy versus Iaquinta, or it might have been. Chael Sonnen was talking about a fight with the winner of Cowboy versus Iaquinta, maybe versus Tony Ferguson. That'd be a good fight, Cowboy versus Ferguson. I haven't even really ever thought about that matchup. Honestly, I've never thought it would obviously be a really good fight just because of who both of them are. But I've never really had that fantasy match, made in my head. Like, oh shit, Cowboy versus El Kukui? Hey, we got something here. But at that lightweight division, there's so much going on right now. So many fights that can just make sense and happen. Khabib versus Poirier, Cowboy versus Conor, Ferguson versus Conor, Ferguson versus this guy, Ferguson. They could do a million things at that division, and it would all make sense. So I'm just going to wait and see what happens. I don't know who Ferguson's going to fight. I don't know who Cowboy's going to fight. I don't know who Conor's going to fight. I would imagine, I've heard the rumblings of McGregor versus Cerrone. That was a fight I know people were really interested in making happen. But Cowboy had a fight coming up, so it's kind of hard to book a fight. Because if Cowboy loses to Iaquinta, there's no reason to talk about Cowboy versus Cerrone. I mean, Cowboy versus McGregor. You can still talk about it because they'd both be coming off of a loss. But it wouldn't be the same. Now that Cowboy has a big win, I think the fight makes way more sense and it could actually happen. So, where would that leave El Kukui? Fucking training, tripping over cords. I don't know. But he deserves something to happen. Something's got to shake. 11-fight winning streak. And to be fair, he was supposed to fight for that interim title. He turned that down, which made all the... How the fuck do you take an interim title fight when you guys already stripped my interim title from me 4 months after I won it? I won the interim title. 4 months later, you stripped me. So now you want me to fight for another interim title? Oh, so what, I can go around and be the champion for 4 more months? Before fucking Khabib wants to return at Abu Dhabi and fight Conor McGregor? So I don't know. You guys tell me you'll trip over a fucking cord? I don't know. But, with that being said, I am glad to hear Tony Ferguson's back. I'm glad to hear he's healthy. I'm glad to hear he's ready to fight. I hope everything goes well for Tony Ferguson. I'm pulling for the guy. Big time. So, yeah, man. With that being said, moving on to the next topic. Israel Adesanya firing back at Yoel Romero. I am Groot? I don't know why. Clearly he's not as built. Groot's not as built as Yoel Romero. but he does kind of look similar, like in the chest area. You know what I'm saying? Like, he kind of looks like Groot there. Maybe. I see what you did there, Adesanya. Adesanya, let's see what he had to say on Twitter. He said, and fuck what? Y'all act like Romero is the champ. Never makes weight. Never won a UFC belt. Then, you fought an old Silva. Me. Anderson's 44. Yoel is 42. Good point there from the style bender. They tell me Silva was too old, and they tell me I'm scared of a guy 2 years younger than Silva. So if Adesanya beats Yoel, they're like, oh, he was 42 years old. And it's like, what? Yoel just said, of course, see you soon, boy. That's all he said to him a couple times. I think after his last fight, Yoel just said, see you soon, boy. Now he's responding to this, see you soon, boy. So he's just saying the same response. And that's why Adesanya said, all this nigga can say is, I am Groot. Because he keeps saying the same thing. All he said was, see you soon, boy. That's all he said. So, Yoel Romero... Yoel Romero with the Captain Phillips, pirate captain. I am the captain now. He said stylebender. First time beating a welterweight, and now I see you soon, boy. Yo, this looks like they got a fight working up, man. I don't know what's going on with Yoel. Is he fighting Paulo Costa? Does he want to fight Adesanya? Does he not want to fight Jacare? I don't know exactly what's going on here, but this was pretty entertaining between the people's champ, Yoel Romero, and the stylebender. Here's where Adesanya. All right. We got a few more topics to talk about. Before we do that, let's have a short UFC Yankovic intermission. Oh, damn it. I don't care. I say damn, that means, of course, you know, I play 3 seconds of song and they take an hour worth of ad pennies, which is only like 15 cents, so I don't really care. UFC Yankovic. I know somebody also asked me to play a song earlier. I'll play that one as well in this intermission. But we're also about to be talking about UFC 237. We're just going to play 1 or 2 songs, and we'll be right back to the show. Here we go. First of all, I know Sicko Mode is one. Who are we just talking about, though? Adesanya and Yoel Romero. All right, we'll do Sicko Mode and we'll do Namajunas versus Andrade. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after these messages. Askren. My weight is down, got cardio. That's how you already know the snake is here and about to take another motherfucker's belt. Make him feel some shit that he ain't never felt. I tried to warn him. I tried to warn him. Yeah. Give it to him like a give and go. My weight is down, I'm in sicko mode. Hold up, TJ, I'ma shut that shit down. Cause you can't fuck with me at 125 pounds. I just came off a win over the GOAT, Mighty Mouse. Ain't no way you can win, can't nobody stop me now. Give me my belt, I'm gonna stop him in the first round. And if I can't stop him, I'll take him down over and over. Do what I gotta do to win the round. If I gotta wrestle, I'ma get him down and hold him down. If I gotta strike, I'ma punch this nigga in his mouth. If I gotta choke him, I'ma gone ahead and choke him out. Either way, I'm about to show him where I'm at, pound for pound. Give me respect, give me my check. January 19th is going down. Bust down, Namajunas, bust down, Namajunas. They wanna
wanna see me bust down. Beat her up, then take that bitch crown. Beat her up, then take that bitch down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust her. Bust down, bust her, bust her, bust down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust down, Namajunas, bust down, Namajunas. They wanna see me bust down. Beat her up, then take that bitch crown. Beat her up, then take that bitch down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust her. Bust down, bust her, bust her, bust down. It's not a game, not a game. I ain't a new face, baby. No, I ain't. I'm every woman's nightmare. Beat your ass, little bitch, and I don't fight fair. Hit you with the pipe with your man standing right there. I'm the baddest chick in the UFC. Don't a bitch at 115 know what to do with me. I'm the queen, or I will be when I beat you. I know Pat gon' wanna kill me when he see you. It's not a game, not a game. You must be high off them drugs. Think you tapped that blunt 2 times too much. If a bitch relax against me, guarantee I put that bitch on her back. You gon' catch these damn hands. I eat the pussy up, now it's a lesbo scene. Give a bitch a reach around, ain't a bitch that can beat me down, ain't a bitch that can keep me down. So now I gotta put down Namajunas. They wanna see me bust down. Now take that bitch down, down. Yeah, I now make that bitch tap, not a game. I said take that bitch down, down. Yeah, I now make that bitch tap. It's not a game, not a game. Bust down Namajunas, bust down Namajunas. They wanna see me bust down. Beat her up, then take that bitch down. Beat her up, then take that bitch crown. It's not a game, not a game. Bust her. Bust down, bust her, bust her, bust down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust down, Namajunas, bust down, Namajunas. They wanna see me bust down. Beat her up, then take that bitch crown. Beat her up, then take that bitch down. It's not a game, not a game. Bust her. Bust down, bust her, bust her, bust down. It's not a game, not a game.
Alright, guys. It's time to continue the show. We are back. We talked about Tony Ferguson. We talked about Conor McGregor. We talked about Khabib Nurmagomedov. We talked about the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. Now we gotta talk about motherfucking Funky Ben Askren gets smashed in wrestling by Jordan Burroughs. But hey, it's kind of like McGregor versus Mayweather for MMA, except for Ben Askren's no McGregor. But he's still a good wrestler. I hate that we haven't even got to see his wrestling in the UFC yet. We're just going off of everybody's word. No man, he was over there fucking out wrestling them dudes and won. He's the best. Oh, he might even be able to take on Jordan Burroughs. What? Jordan Burroughs is a lot better wrestler than those guys at FC. So, I mean, this was kind of expected. But salute to Ben Askren. He just put a big spotlight on the world of wrestling. A lot of people don't watch it. They probably still aren't going to give a shit about wrestling after this. Some people will. It's definitely going to bring some eyes to the sport. I already knew who Jordan Burroughs was. A lot of people probably didn't. But Jordan Burroughs bulldozed this kid like it was the amateurs. I mean, I just seen 1-2 clips on Twitter, and Jordan Burroughs was just running through Ben Askren. I said it was 5-0 really early. Ended up 9-0, something crazy. I don't know how wrestling scoring works, but I'll tell you, he got smashed. What we've learned so far is that Jordan Burroughs is a better wrestler than Ben Askren, said Ryan Bader, which I think we already knew. He was, I believe, a commentator at this event. Yeah, for sure, we definitely knew that. Now, this doesn't really do much for MMA. I mean, unless you're just a Jorge Masvidal fan and you're looking for anything to grasp onto, which kind of why I took, a little bit of pride. I got nothing against Ben Askren. I actually like Ben Askren, and I like that he actually brings some sort of entertainment. I like the fact that he tries to be entertaining sometime. But it's the other stuff that I have a hard time attaching myself to. A little bit. I mean, the way that I relate to someone like Jorge Masvidal, I don't relate to someone like Ben Askren. As far as our upbringings, completely different, so I don't really relate to him as much. I get it, he kind of tell jokes and kind of funny sometimes, but we just don't click. We wouldn't click like me and somebody like Jorge Masvidal, or even Dustin Poirier, somebody like that. So I'm clearly rooting for Jorge Masvidal, one of my favorite fighters of all time, when he fights Ben Askren. I already don't think this got enough attention. Let me go to Jorge Masvidal's. Jorge Masvidal. And I'm not saying enough attention like it needs more. I'm just saying this was crazy as fuck. Jorge Masvidal Twitter. And maybe it's photoshopped. I don't think it is. It don't look like it. Did he take it off? Oh, God. Come on, man. And like I said, it's nothing to do with homophobia. It's just not what you expect. Ben Askren's coming over here. Great wrestler. Can't wait to see him fight. He almost gets cleaned up by Robbie Lawler. Comes back, submits him. Now he's fighting Masvidal. You know, he's doing his thing. Okay, let's see where this goes. I just didn't expect the fucking road to turn here. Phew! Ben Askren posing, thongish position, belt. Like, and man, let me check the comments to see if this shit is photoshopped. I don't see in one single photo Ben is holding more belts than you ever have. Yeah, a World Series of Fighting belt. I mean, if you don't think that Jorge Masvidal could go get the Arizona Fighting Championship, New Mexico Fighting Alliance, if you don't think he could go just get 50 fucking belts if he wants, you're wrong. The difference between this belt on Ben Askren's shoulder and a UFC belt is one of them fucking matters. One of them is real. One of them is respectable. And this one is cool. Like, to all the amateur, or to all the, like, I'm sure, like, any amateur fighter or someone looking to get in the game or someone that's fighting for World Series of Fighting, this would be an amazing feat. But when you're one of the best in the world, you want the UFC belt. And I'll tell you this much. Even if Jorge Masvidal wins the UFC belt, he ain't going to be posing like this. Come on. It don't matter if you got the UFC belt and you're the reason that it's got a Puerto Rican or Mexican or Cuban, whatever you're, because whenever with the new UFC, whenever, I'm getting this the fuck off of my screen, man. Whenever you're, let's say you've got an ethnicity, like Kamaru Usman, Nigerian, right? So whenever he won the belt, he got to put the Nigerian emblem on the belt. So if you're Mexican and you win a belt, now you get to put the Mexican emblem on the belt. So even if you tell Jorge, not tell him, but even if you give him a belt and he can put, his heritage on the belt, he ain't gonna pose like that. So that's not really a good comeback. I mean, it is, because quick thinking, and I do appreciate quick thinking. I enjoy fast wit, but it's just not a good enough response. We needed some sort of denial, and I mean, and like I said, we don't need denial, because if Ben Askren's gay, he's gay. I really don't care. I really don't. But I'm just saying, you don't hide it, right? Like, why would you be in the closet with? I don't know. That's weird. I'm not going down that topic. It don't matter. Like, the new topic. Who cares? Hopefully it's Photoshop. But like I said, got smashed by Jordan Burroughs. I mean, so if you're in Masvidal's corner, this is where you kind of get your W, because we know how he wants to fight. We know he's going to go in there, try and take Masvidal down. We've all seen Masvidal versus Colby Covington in training, the video that, yeah, it's a bad matchup. But Masvidal is someone you don't count out. He can, of course, knock Ben out. He could submit Ben. He could, I don't know about a decision. It's going to be hard to keep him from taking you down. Now, to be fair, we haven't seen that GOAT wrestling yet. Unless you watched Ben Askren when he was actually wrestling, we haven't really got to see his wrestling. In one championship in Bellator a little bit we did, but the competition wasn't, the same level. So it's like, how would he do against one of these really good MMA wrestlers? We know how he would do against Jordan Burroughs. It wouldn't be close. I mean, so we'll have to see where this goes, but this matchup with Masvidal is an easier matchup for Ben Askren, just as far as styles are concerned, which we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, because I'm definitely not going to be the one to count out my boy. Now, speaking of counting fighters out, Rose Namajunas has a tough fight ahead of her with Jessica Andrade coming up at UFC 237, and she's admitting she's venturing into uncharted territory for this UFC 237 title defense. She said this time is different from any other time, obviously. This time it's pretty scary, I must say. It's kind of, I feel like I'm in uncharted territory even though I have a lot of experiences. There's a lot of things I do know, but there's a lot of unknowns going into this one. I've spent not just the last year fighting the same girl, Joanna, but then years prior to that, even after having other opponents, I was still thinking about her. So this is the first time where I'm not thinking about her. I'm thinking about somebody else. I'm thinking about Andrade. I'm thinking about the most brutal one-punch KO in UFC women's history. She didn't say that part. See, at the end of the day, it's always just a fight against myself. So just remembering that has to be a challenge. But it's something that I'm going to overcome. I like Rose as much as the next man or woman, but this sounds like doubt. This sounds like, I don't want to say excuses because it's not like she's saying, I'm going into this fight injured, I'm supposed to lose. But she's like, this is different. My whole career I've been preparing for no one but Joanna. So now that I beat Joanna, this is new. Even before I fought Joanna, I was only wanting to beat Joanna. Like, alright, let that be the reason. She said, I think she's pretty unique. I'd say I don't think I've ever fought anybody quite like her. There's not a bit. Ooh, I cannot wait for my girl Jessica Andrade, y'all. Let's go. I want to see what that title. Fuck what you talking about, man. I'm a Rose fan, but for this fight, sweetie, sit down. It's Andrade time. What are you, mini cyborg nation? Stand up. I'm talking mini, man. Y'all better put some respect on Jessica Andrade's name. I think she's pretty unique, Rose said. I don't think I've ever fought anybody quite like her. I think that there's parts of her that kind of remind me of Pat Berry in a way. Just the way that when she fought at 35, she was fighting girls that were way bigger, but she kind of always surprised people with just how explosive she was, and that regardless of her size, she was able to be a dangerous opponent no matter what. So in that sense, she kind of reminds me of Pat in a way. That's interesting. That's some interesting psychological shit for someone to break down, like Alpaca-Thesaurus. Like she sees her significant other in her next opponent. That's interesting. That makes you respect her a little more. You know, you're definitely gonna respect your opponent more because clearly you respect what Pat went through and his, you know, fighting battles with people that were way bigger than him. Clearly you respect that. So when you emball that into your opponent, you're now kind of, you're not giving her too much power because she's probably got enough power already, but you are respecting her in a way that I don't know if it's safe for fighting. I'm up against a very experienced, well-rounded, formidable opponent who's got a lot of great physical qualities, and also she's only 27 years old. She's got a lot of experience, so on the mental side, she's a pretty complete fighter. As far as physically is concerned, I feel like my body type is better for MMA, but at the same time, it's just going to come down to me being myself, and that's really all there is to it. I'm more dynamic. I think I can do it all, whereas she's a short fighter. She has to close the distance. There's certain things that she has to do in this fight, and for me, I've got a lot of options. I don't have to do any one particular thing. So yeah, I'm just more dynamic, and I guess the only requirements for me to win is just being myself. I think, so yeah, now she went into her childhood and stuff like that, which is all a really good story, and one of the best videos, that if you want to learn about Rose Namajunas and even a little bit about Pat Berry, Mixed Molly Whoppery has a video on Rose that's just phenomenal. I mean, all of his videos are phenomenal. There's so many good MMA channels, you guys. I'm not even close. I'm not going to lie. Like, I know good content when I see it. I bring a unique perspective when we talk about MMA and stuff like that. But when you're talking Alpaca-Thesaurus, Mixed Molly Whoppery, the Weasel, like, I just feel like their shit is, insanely, like, the quality and just everything that goes to it. Like, I respect their work a lot. But yeah, he's got a really good video on Rose Namajunas and her journey. Man, I want to pull up his channel. It's so fucking good. Like, I'm sure you all know about Mixed Molly Whoppery. This dude, just a fucking straight beast. Like, look at some of the videos he does. They're just so good, man. Like, it's his own style and, like, what he goes into. It's not just, like, I don't know, man. I respect his work. I think it's easily probably the best. Mixed Molly Whoppery is the best to me. MMA channel on YouTube. You know, but yeah, other than that, look at these. Dillashaw's Dirty House of Cards. That was a really good one. Tony Ferguson's. This one, man, I was so hoping that, like, he talked a lot. Like, he really gave Tony Ferguson his respect in this video. Just an amazing video, bro. But I wanted to hear his or anybody's thoughts on Tony Ferguson's tweet where he's like, I've been threatened to take and not take fights and shit like that. Because the only reason I wanted to hear his thoughts on it is because I feel like it went under the radar. Like, no one gives a shit. Maybe, like, that shit's way too deep for people to want to touch on. You know, like, there's always been rumors of, I don't know, like, mafia type shit going on in the UFC, or before the UFC and other organizations, Risen or Bulldog, like, wherever there, you know, there's been shady characters, 100%. And so I have been waiting for someone to touch on. Nobody has. No one ever brought that up. And it could have something to do with Tony Ferguson's mental health. You know, they said he felt like people were putting computer chips and shit in his leg. So maybe he was becoming a paranoid or really paranoid about certain stuff. He hangs out with Eddie Bravo. It would make a lot of sense, honestly. If he smokes weed with Eddie Bravo, I don't even know if Tony Ferguson smokes weed. But I don't want to know what that would do to your mind. Smoking a blunt with Eddie Bravo, that would blow your shit up, bro. But either way, Masvidal, he did a recent one on Masvidal, bro. Look, so Roy McDonald, I haven't got to watch this one yet. Roy McDonald finds faith, loses edge. I'm planning on watching that one. But Tony Ferguson's mental breakdown, Dillashaw's Dirty House of Cards, Masvidal, was it just business from McGregor? GSP pretends to retire. He had an amazing one on USADA, the John Jones fucking Pringles defense. Like, yo, like, I honestly feel like, and it might just be whatever, I don't think I'll ever be on the level of this dude, like the content he makes. But he puts, that's why he only drops like once every 5 days or so, because you got to put so much work into those. But it's so good. So yeah, man, if you haven't checked out Mixed Molly Whoppery, which I'm sure you all have, so I really just wasted your time, but we're about to be getting out of here soon anyway, you got to check him out. Premier MMA content. All right, now this is one other thing we had to talk about, though, for sure. Larissa Pacheco will now face Kayla Harrison at PFL, and I think it's going down this week, PFL 12, Thursdays. God damn, I fucking work. I worked during Kayla Harrison's fight, you guys. Larissa Pacheco's now stepping in to face Kayla Harrison, but hey, it is what it is. It's just the beginning of the preseason, right? We can't be there for every single fight. We got to catch the replay on some, of course. But yeah, man, this Thursday, Kayla Harrison versus Larissa Pacheco. And, oh, man, it's a short notice opponent, but still, like, literally, what do they say about Kayla Harrison? Oh, she hasn't fought anybody. She fought a girl that was 3-4. Then she fights 8-2 Josette Cotton, and they're like, oh, yeah, but Josette wasn't good enough on the ground for Kayla. She fights someone else. They're like, oh, yeah, but she's not a pro. She's only like fucking 7-6, whatever her record was. Still experienced. I guess she just wasn't 15-0, so it wasn't good enough. So now who is she fighting? Look at the record of the girl she's fighting. 11-2. Kayla Harrison is 3-0. She's got 3 wins so far. I'm going to pull this up. There's no way I'm not. We haven't talked about Kayla Harrison in long enough. Tapology, Kayla Harrison. All right. Look who she's fought. Brittany Elkins, 3-4. They said, oh, yeah, but she was 3-4, losing record. I don't think people realize this was Kayla Harrison's very first pro fight, 0-0. Like, would you rather her fight another girl that's 0-0 or a girl that's at least got some experience? A lot of people fight people that are 0-0 or 0-1. She at least fought somebody with some pro wins. So that wasn't good enough for people. Josette Cotton, 8-1. How you like me now? The #1 head buster Oh, Kayla Harrison don't got no hands. Josette's gonna put them on her. Boom, boom, boom. Nobody was talking about Josette's ground game before the fight. They all thought Kayla Harrison didn't have hands and was just gonna get smashed because she didn't have hands. Kayla came out there moving her head, throwing high kicks, kicks to the body, leg kicks, just showcasing her striking before ultimately taking Josette down and keeping her there. Domination. Moriel Charneski, 3-1, still 7 pro fights. I mean, if I can't impress you with the 8-1 record, what the fuck does my opponent's record matter? Clearly, you guys want me to fight fucking Khabib. It's the only way people are going to be happy is if Kayla Harrison beats Khabib. Oh, I told you she's not going to beat everybody. She lost to Khabib. Bro, she's 3-0. So now, she's fighting a girl that is 11-2. This girl is 11-2. 11 wins. Only 2 girls have beat her. Kayla's only 3-0. Who has she fought? Macy Chiasson. Fucking monster. We know about Macy. She's in the UFC now. She just got another first-round finish. Caroline Rosa. Jermaine Durandamy. Jessica Andrade. She's fought some skilled girls. She beat Irene Aldana. She's fought some girls that are in the UFC. So, I'm looking forward to this fight. I think it's a great matchup. Hopefully, Kayla will win it. I'm imagining she would. I don't see her losing anytime soon. But the girl's 11-2, so I'm just curious to see what they're going to say after this fight. Are they going to say, oh, the girl didn't have a ground game? Let's see. I want to make sure she got some submission wins. Perfect. Perfect. This girl's got guillotine choke, triangle choke, TKOs. So after this, what? Just somebody tell me the next excuse for Kayla Harrison. Are they going to say this girl doesn't have a ground game? Are they going to say this girl had a losing record? Are they going to say this girl was too small? Like, there's going to be an excuse. Oh, yeah, but once Kayla fights Khabib, though. Oh, Kayla's beating everybody, but once she fights Cyborg, bro, she's 4-0. Can she get to 8-0 before we throw her in there with Cyborg or Khabib? Just sit back, watch this dominance, and join the train. I mean, hop on the train. If you can't beat them, join them. And it's going to be a rocky ride if you're just rolling around waiting for Kayla Harrison to lose for the next 3 years. Eventually, she might lose, but guess what? So is everybody. So is your favorite fighter. So to think Kayla Harrison's going to be undefeated for her whole career, I mean, that's unreasonable expectations. But is she dominating up until that point? Impressively? 1-0 fighting girls with 7 pro fights, 2-0 fighting a girl that's 8-1, 3-0 fighting a girl that's 11-2. Is that not impressive? Because we've done this before. We can pull up your favorite fighter. You can drop their name in the comments and go look up their first 4 fights, and I guarantee you they didn't fight anybody as experienced as what Kayla Harrison's doing. Add up the wins, add up the losses. Total pro fights. No matter if it's John Jones, DC, Stipe, Cyborg, pick your favorite fighter. None of them are doing, or none of them did. It's too late now. None of them did in their first 4 fights what Kayla is doing. Because whenever people start fighting, they don't have the spotlight. So you can fight a person that's 0-3. No one's going to care. You can fight a person that's 0-0. You can be 5-0 fighting people that are 1-3. You're padding your record against people that aren't on your level. Kayla Harrison is the opposite. She's 0-0 fighting a girl with 7 pro fights. She's 4-0, 3-0 fighting a girl that's 11-2. No one does that. So I just can't wait to see the excuses that come out this Friday after Kayla Harrison gets this fat fucking dub. Michael Chandler, a little bit jealous of USADA testing in the UFC. I wish they were testing me. All cap. Michael Chandler is on the MMA Hour, full cap. Don't nobody, even if you enjoy drug testing, even if you want a clean sport, nobody rocks with USADA like that. You know, because it's not about the drug testing. It's about the invasiveness. It's about knocking on my door at 4 in the morning when my fucking kids are probably asleep for school. It's about having to report where I'm going to be every single hour of the day. I'm sure you would like USADA to clean up your organization if that's what you're saying. I mean, as far as I wish they were testing me. But do you want to tell them where you're at every hour of every day? Do you want the invasiveness? That's the part a lot of people don't like. Do you want to fill for a supplement to where you're not even guilty? You get flagged for some shit that was not in your supplement, contaminated supplement. That's so real. It happens. A lot of people feel like, oh no, every single fighter that's ever been flagged was guaranteed cheating. No. Contaminated supplements are very fucking real. And you got to think, these are fighters. Like, 80% of them are not professionals. I know they're professional fighters, but they're fighters. So 80% of them are not professional in the sense that taking care of everything, making sure, you know, I only eat this at this time. Like, a lot of people, they're not as disciplined in that. To get to the highest level, that's where the top 20% come in. That's where the Demetrius Johnsons, the Daniel Cormiers, and the best of the best do come in. They never get flagged, all of this. They do it the right way, right? But if you're just some fucking fighter coming in and you're taking your supplements and you ain't got with the professional fight team or something like that, or a professional nutritionist, and you're just getting supplements from GNC, like, it's dangerous. That's dangerous. Because a lot of fighters have popped recently, and I don't believe all of them were on steroids. Now, you know, steroids, something to help you cut weight. It's not only steroids, you know, that are performance-enhancing drugs. It can be an IV. It can be estrogen blockers. Any of these list of things that are banned, right? But a lot of the times, man, it is contaminated supplements, and that's why you see fighters with lawsuits against supplement companies when it's like, hey, you tarnished my reputation, this wasn't listed on your bottle, now I failed a drug test at my job, this put my career on hold, a loss of wages, and so that's why you see fighters suing supplement companies sometimes, because they literally got flagged by USADA, and they're innocent. Do you want to risk that? Are you jealous of that? Are you jealous of the guys like fucking Tom Lawler, who got 2 years for some things that other fighters get 4 months or 6 months for? Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to believe any fighter is jealous of USADA testing, because you even see clean fighters talking about how invasive USADA can be. I try to stay pretty even keeled, Chandler told Luke Thomas. He's never been quite friendly. He always known that. I will, first of all, beat his brother. He's talking about Pitbull, of course. Pitbull Ferrer. They've got a rivalry going on, Chandler and the Pitbull brothers. He said, so he had that against me. I beat him a couple of years later, so he's always had that animosity toward me. So now, after some things he said, I'm ready to go shut him up. So, you know, Bellator, I think they're really about to ramp it up for 2019. Their first slate of fights in the beginning of this year, they haven't been the craziest, but I have a feeling that's about to change. Just a couple more things to talk about. I got to get out of here because I got to leave in like an hour for work, so I got to get ready, get everything ready, podcast downloaded. Canelo getting blasted by Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, for his boring win over Daniel Jacobs on 4 de Mayo. May the 4th be with you. I mean, like I said in the very beginning of the show, I'm glad it wasn't only me. I'm glad there's at least a world champion boxer that agrees with it, because I felt like I was in the minority. I was watching. I wasn't even tired like that, bro. I was watching Canelo versus Danny Jacobs. Like, this shit sucks. I just watched MMA. I can't do it. We had 12 rounds. This is only round 4. 8 more rounds of the same shit. I couldn't do it. I felt bad, because I know people in the full-time family. There's some people that really do enjoy. Well, they probably don't enjoy boxing, but they watch it. And so I felt bad. Like, I was like, man, if I can make it to a boxing fight to where I only got to watch the main event, maybe I can do it. So we tuned in. Canelo, Danny Jacobs, main event. It's time. Michael Buffer. and then the fucking snooze fest begins. God, I can't do it, man. So I don't even think I'm gonna try again. Unless it's fucking Mayweather Pacquiao 2. And even then, I don't have a clue how that's supposed to be entertaining. I don't know why I would expect that. I don't know. I guess I'm a casual boxing fan now, or a casual boxing watcher. So, hey, man. That being said, that's really all we got to talk about on today's show. So let's pull up the chat. Mr. Perfect 2005 in the building. Here we go with this Kayla shit again, says Stamina MC. Stamina MC, you can only deny the truth for so long. Like, and I think a lot of people, bro, and I get it, you know. A lot of people feel like Kayla Harrison already has so many advantages. You know, oh, she's white, she's blonde, she's going to get pushed, that they kind of automatically dislike her. It's like, just because I assume she's going to get a bunch of privilege, I don't like her for that. I don't like her because she gets privilege. It's like, she's worked really fucking hard to be where she's at. She's not just some fucking do-nothing bitch, as Ronda Rousey would say. Kayla's been through a lot of shit. She's competed at the highest level. Now she's in MMA doing, I mean, I don't understand what there is to root against when it comes to Kayla Harrison. But hey, man, it is what it is. I'm him says, love this channel more than other MMA channels, though. What? That would be surprising. Like, you know, I mean, surprise. I mean, I rock with you. You know, I know you guys rock with me, but the quality of content put out of there by guys like Mixed Molly Wapri, I feel like kind of puts my shit to shame sometimes. I'm fine with Kayla, Susie. Full-time's tunnel vision regarding her, not so much. I'm not tunnel vision because, like I just said in my diatribe, I don't expect her to go undefeated. I don't expect her to be fucking the Khabib of women's MMA, even though she looks like it sometimes. I don't expect her to be 25-0. But I also don't expect her to lose to fucking Josette Cotton like a lot of people did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't expect her striking to be as bad as Ronda Rousey's. I expect her ceiling to be higher because she trains with the American Top Team at a higher weight class. I just think I'm being very realistic about it, and people kind of automatically hate on her because they assume her privilege. I like her because she is white and blonde, says One Way. Well, there's a good fucking just lay it out there. See, in One Way, I hope you're joking, but if not, that's why people don't like her. Because you like her for the simple fact that she's white and blonde. I like Kayla Harrison because she's a fucking savage. A lot of potential. Like, what she's... And it's not even about her fucking story. She does have a story, you know, in her the Olympic scandal and stuff like that, and she wrote her book on that, and, you know, respect to her. But that's not what I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe she survived. That's not what it is for me. It's really about the fighting for me. It's about the team. It's about American Top Team. It's about the rivalry with potentially Cyborg, the only chick. I mean, now that Amanda Nunes knocked Cyborg out, it's not there as much. But there was nobody that we looked at that could touch Cyborg. Cyborg was untouchable. So Kayla Harrison was this girl coming up, background, 2-time gold medal judo. So she's clearly competed at the highest level. Now she's transitioning to MMA with American Top Team. She's not just transitioning to MMA training with her fucking judo coach, or she didn't go sign up at Edmund Tarvarian's gym just because she, you know, she went to the best fight team in the world, American Top Team. So with her mindset, mentality, and drive that got her the 2 gold medals, how can you not take that at somewhere like American Top Team and just become the GOAT? Seriously. If Cyborg trained at American Top Team her whole career, she'd be a much better fighter today. Same with everybody. Literally everybody. John Jones even. Don't matter who you are. If you're training with the best fighters in the world, you know, if you got 5 fresh bodies at your weight class all at the highest level, you're going to be better than the guy that's just rolling with his 2 other friends. It is what it's got nothing to do with her being white or blonde to me. The reason I like Kayla Harrison has nothing to do with her hair or skin color. Everything to do with the potential and the crash course with Cyborg she was on. I mean, that I don't even know if that's the case anymore. But yeah, man, with that being said, I think that's a good place to end the show. Kayla Harrison's fighting this Thursday at PFL. PFL regular season begins this Thursday, I believe. I mean, it's really cool how they do it. You get points throughout the season, and at the end, whoever's got the most points in each respective division makes the tournament for that weight class. And then you fight one round in the tournament, and then to win the $1 million in the belt, you got to fight 2 fights on the same night. It's just an awesome format I would really want to get more accustomed to. So I would like to watch this, actually. I want to keep up with the whole regular season. But since I got work tonight, it's something I'm going to have to catch on the replay. And I got so much shit to do between this and that and this and that. I don't catch many replays. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. It is what it is. Hope you guys all have a great day. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out.